Proview Networks and Legacy Boxing Promotions are proud to present the Expo Explosion Weigh-Ins, Friday, March 31st from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. at Uptown Sports Bar, 6601 Uptown Boulevard Northeast. Great boxers like Christian Cabral, Hector Munoz, Jason and Jose Sanchez, Josh Pitbull Torres, and Fidel the Atrisco Kid Maldonado.
Welcome, folks, to the Underground Health Club. I'm your host, Dr. Joe Kasper, with another episode this evening with you. And I want to thank our sponsor, Ep3, the world's best vitamins that go from the lab to the patient, never ever on a shelf, never ever in a warehouse. And anyway, folks, we're going to bring on a wonderful guest today. I'm real excited about this gentleman who I actually met at a swimming pool. So when you hear Darrell Wells, you're going to hear about a great man who does so much for the community here in Albuquerque, so much for kids, and you will really learn what it is to be dedicated to your town. Well, folks, here he is. Darrell, welcome.
Joe. Thank you.
To the Underground Health Club. Appreciate having you.
Pleasure to be here.
So I guess I want to kind of tell the story that I saw you in the pool.
Yes.
Sounds kind of weird, doesn't it? And I saw what you were doing with children and the programs that you had put together, and I'm like, wow. And, you know, I wanted to find out about you. I guess we can talk, you know, you're originally from California.
That's right, right.
So you're a recovering Californian?
Sort of, yes.
Yeah. I know you told me you're from San Diego.
Most recently San Diego. I lived in the Bay Area as well, and I'm all over, really.
So what do you think of Albuquerque as a city?
I really like Albuquerque. I often tell my friends that New Mexico in general, and Albuquerque especially, is kind of just a small town. You know, I run into people from all walks of life, and people that I know from different places. They know each other, and it's really interesting. I really like it. My wife has family here, so it's kind of like home for us as well. So.
It's interesting. I've been here. Pardon me, I have a frog in my throat. I think I get it every show. I get that little frog, but it's okay. It leaves. I've been here a little over 4 years, and it is a really nice city, and the weather here is phenomenal.
Yes.
And it's not too hot, not too cold. We have change of seasons. There's virtually no winter.
Right.
And you know, I know you're an architect by trade, and you have your own business. You're an entrepreneur like I am,
yes.
Which is awesome. And that allows you, Darrell, I guess, to be a swim coach and do things on your terms.
Right.
Isn't it nice, like, to be able to do things on your terms?
It really is. It's you know, I came back to swimming after some years away, and able to do it like you're saying on my own terms. I chose where I wanted to coach and the type of kids I wanted to be working with, and it's different than when you have to do it for a living.
Yes, I understand. So. Now you were a competitive swimmer when you were young.
I was a very competitive swimmer, water polo player when I was young, growing up.
High school and college?
I actually went into the service right after high school.
Okay.
But I swam in high school all the way in age group all the way up from about 9 years old. High performance level swimming all through that time, and then did triathlons afterwards while I was in the service. So.
Now, what's interesting about competition, sometimes people talk about sports and they'll go, well, I don't want it too competitive.
Right.
And I kind of like that, but I kind of don't like it because if you look at the world, I hate the word doggy because I like dogs. They're great. But isn't life somewhat competitive? Isn't everything?
I would say in some way life is always competitive all the time. Yeah. Competition is something that we talk about a lot in swimming, obviously, because swimming is a competitive sport. We have a competitive team. And swimming, unlike some other sports, is very cut and dry because you're racing against the clock.
Right.
So there's no subjective qualities really at all, and you get constant feedback in that way. And you sort of have to have some competitive nature in you to do well, I think, and sort of survive the rigors of that.
Well, it's interesting because, you know, people go on job interviews or they do different businesses. Like, you know, you as an architect, you compete for different you know, buildings or contracts you might get to design, and if you have a better diagram or charge less or whatever, you're going to get the gig, as they say.
Yes.
So there is competition, so it's almost impossible to ignore it.
I believe so, yeah.
But I also think playing fair in life is important.
Sure.
I mean, and I know as a coach, I've seen this because I've been a high-level baseball player, and sometimes the parents are more of a pain than the kids.
Well, I think a lot of people do have trouble with parents, and I think some of that is generational. I think I've been very lucky with most of my parents. I think maybe because I'm a professional outside of the sport, and because I'm a little older than a lot of coaches, I tend to do much better, I think, with parents than a lot of, especially younger coaches or career coaches, do. But parents have changed over the last few decades, and they're extremely involved, and you hear the term helicopter parent or lawnmower parent, things like that, and those things are pretty real in the youth sports world, and something you have to deal with.
I've seen it, but it's funny now when I come to the pool, folks. Understand this, I met Daryl because I go to Rio Grande Pool,
right?
And it's the first indoor pool I've ever been in my life. No, maybe a second. I was one in Philadelphia where I used to live. That you do not feel the chlorine. Let me say that again. You do not feel the chlorine, which is amazing.
Yeah.
Above the pool, they have these blue filters. And if I'm wrong, correct me, please. Excuse me. And you don't feel it on your body.
Yeah.
And how many indoor pools can you go to in this country, this world, where you don't feel chlorine on your body?
Well, I'll tell you, it's very rare. Air quality in indoor pools, and we've seen this, we just went through women's NCAA 2A competition this last week, and we're going through men's this week, and it's a constant struggle to maintain air quality, even for the spectators, much less the athletes.
Yeah.
Especially when you get a lot of people in the venue, and you're churning water all the time, and there's off-gassing from the pool itself. So it's a struggle. I grew up swimming outdoors and coaching outdoors, and when I first moved here, it was difficult. However, Rio Grande just renovated their pool, this fabulous facility. They spend a lot of money on the county and the city as well, and it's so much better now. I mean, it's, you go there and it doesn't feel like you're in a sauna of an indoor pool that you typically feel, and so it's really great. We enjoy it a lot there.
And it's interesting, but why won't other schools or other programs do that? Let me ask that question.
Honestly, I think there's a little bit of lack of knowledge, even in the building trades itself. When they're speccing out those kinds of things, they don't really understand or haven't really understood really well what the process is of that sort of gas system that's cleaning the pool, and how many people you have in there, and it's very volatile. Sometimes you'll have 3 people, sometimes you have 150. So it changes a lot. It's very difficult to design a system that will react quickly to those things and be able to clear the air and keep the chemicals right. And and you've got sometimes young kids, they're great at their job, but they may not have a lot of experience in updating the systems. Because those pool control systems, you have to be constantly monitoring all the time. Even though they're electronically run now, you have to check the chemicals, and it fluctuates based on who's using the pool, the weather, everything affects those chemical levels. So it's a pretty constant upkeep.
See, I find it interesting because now you obviously can't swim races in salt water because that'll slow you down.
Interestingly enough, you can, and there are some saltwater pools around the country. And the thing about saltwater pools is it's sort of interesting because saltwater pools are actually creating chlorine. They're called saltwater, and the water tastes like saltwater. The pool at the Albuquerque Academy is actually a saltwater pool.
Okay.
And we actually love swimming there because my kids swim very fast there, so I enjoy swimming at that pool. It's where they hold the state championships for high school.
Okay.
But it's a chemical process that uses sodium chloride in order to create chlorine. So the chlorine levels are much, much lower, and it has a little saline taste when you get in the water.
Okay.
So some of the kids don't like that. But it really is still creating low levels of chlorine. It's not totally chlorine free. So some people don't really understand that the difference there. So
I find it interesting. But Dale, listen, I just got word we have to take a commercial break.
Sure.
So folks, we'll be back in about a minute. We're going to go to our sponsors right now, and this is the Underground Health Show with Dr. Joe Casper. Thank you.
Over Cleveland. Comebacker. They're going to go to second for one. Back to first, and that is a double play.
He's going to snap it to Porter. He's got plenty of time. Porter going to fire. It's tipped in the air, and it's one-hand grab. There's a penalty marker down. Cruising across the...
It's over. The Bears wait until the 7th to live off the great defense they've had today, and they pull it in.
The University of New Mexico, Lobo. Fan favorite's going to go deep on first down, and it's caught.
Welcome back to the Underground Health Club. I'm your host, Dr. Joe Casper, and we're going to bring Daryl back here. Daryl, welcome back.
Thank you.
Appreciate having you. So we started talking about science before of the water.
Yeah.
So can you blind us with science? It's like the movie.
We sort of covered the layperson's version of difference between chlorine and salt water. Really, it's it's something that you I mentioned earlier, you have to monitor all the time because of the use levels and the how many people you have in there, whether they take a shower, those kinds of things. Chloramines. There's a lot of really technical stuff that I'm probably not qualified to get into, other than decades of experience as a coach and a swimmer. But the short version is the Rio Grande Pool is a really great venue for us to be in the brand new systems, and they're doing really well over there. So
it is amazing. Well, I'm going to cut on science a little bit too, because I know as a nutrition doctor, someone who's worked with clients around the world in health, there are people who have, a lot of people have toxins in them.
Yes.
I mean, they just do, and so some of my clients are into, whether they're aqua jogging like I love to do, or they swim laps, I want to notice, and if there's a better option for a pool, like I know this is I'm sure true, is the average outdoor pool, you'll feel less chlorine than the average indoor pool because air is a factor, right?
Right.
So, and some people have allergies to chlorine. They just, their nose and they itch, and other people not so bad.
Yeah.
But if you have cancer or a skin disorder, you got to be careful.
Right.
So in the pool at Rio Grande High School, I think it's located in Arnell.
Arnell, yeah.
Yeah. It really is amazing, and the lifeguards are so great there. I've been in pools where I've seen a 6 in 1, the lifeguard's half asleep, playing on their cell phone.
Yeah.
That does not happen there.
Yeah.
I have never
They're
seen
great kids over there.
Really, I've never seen a lifeguard there with a phone at the head thing, and they switch every 20 minutes.
Right.
And they all get along. It's a really great situation, and it's safe, and they have the long part of the pool, they have like a rehab section. There's even a water slide.
There's a little,
But that little water slide, I've been on it. It goes fast. You got to close your eyes. It goes. Whoosh.
Yeah, and it goes into a little flume, and rather than back into the pool. So it's sort of an interesting, newer concept for water slides.
Yeah, so it's nice. And I've had some injuries, so I've come in that pool, and you've seen me. I've done my rehab stuff. And when you have your swim teams there, I noticed this as well. I know swim teams come first because they have to.
Right.
But you allow the other people to swim on to the side, and everyone works together, and the kids are very respectful.
Right.
No one crashes into anyone, and I've seen you with a lot of kids, and they all are behaved.
Yeah. I really feel a part of the community, and sometimes swim teams and venues have a sort of adversarial relationship with the lifeguards and the coaches, and that's actually pretty common. I think our situation there is really great. A lot of the lifeguards there used to swim for me. A lot of them coming back and coach for me, and I have a really good relationship with most of the guards there, really all of them, and so I think that really helps the community environment of that particular pool feel much better like that. And I'm very flexible with the community. I know that it is a community pool, and we need to serve as many people as we can. That's the reason I'm there to begin with. I'm not there to make a lot of money or sponge off of people. I'm there to help the community and serve the community in a way that they weren't being served before, and that's why I went to that particular pool. And I think there really is a really strong sense of community there at that pool.
There's no question. I mean, me being from New York, where things can be rough at certain points. Sure. It's the sense of community, I think, is great. I mean, I come up to you like I didn't even know you. We had a conversation, and I went up to you. I remember I said, "Well, I see you do a real nice job with these kids. My name is Joe Casper," and so talking. I didn't know who you were, but I like to talk to strangers. My whole life, I just always have. My dad gave me that gift. It's really good at times. Sometimes not so good.
I thought New Yorkers weren't supposed to talk to strangers.
I always did. My dad did the same thing. Yeah. So I just really feel feel that, the program you have in place is really great. So now, if you would, Daryl, tell us what's the age groups for the children?
Well, we actually, the basic general range is about 6 to 18. Okay. But we do have people younger than that who are ready to go as long as they can swim across the pool unaided, because our coaches are on deck rather than in the water, so it's kind of important that they're safe. And we also have what we call master swimmers, which are older adults. That's what they refer to anyone over 18. And I've got a couple of the collegiate level kids swimming with us as well. So the program really goes from as soon as they can swim forever. One of my master swimmers is well into his 70s, swims every day. Great athlete, wonderful guy. He's a good friend of mine. So
it's interesting. Now, do you help as a coach, let's say, get a kid into college
yes.
scholarship? How does that work?
As club teams, that's sort of part of our responsibility. As competitive club teams, we start looking at those kinds of things about freshman and sophomore year in high school. Okay. And it's important to develop relationships with those college coaches and sort of shepherd those kids if they decide to do that.
That's nice, because a lot of times in sports, the coaches don't always help. They're busy, whatever.
Sure.
I mean, and I know it's out here they do a really good job. But in some schools, in some areas, it's always the parents and the kids, pushing to get the scholarship.
Right.
But you have pull, swim people around the country, probably around the world.
I'm fortunate that I know a lot of people all over the country because of when I swam, and I'm in a hotbed of swimming community in California with Olympians in the pool, and they're right next to me all the time. And so I know a lot of people, and I've gotten to meet a lot more people because there are a couple coaches in town that I've become really good friends with that also know a lot of people. So that helps as well. So. Now,
with your program, when you have, like, I guess, high school kids or even the younger kids, is there an issue, like, let's say the kids have to do good in school academically,
sure.
right? So if a kid fails all his classes, can he get kicked off your team?
Him
or her?
Yeah, I deal with that probably more when I coach high school. I coach at St. Pius as well. It's usually a parental decision when it comes to club teams, whether the kid's managing their work as well. It's extremely important to me. As a person and as a coach. So as much as I can be involved, some parents sort of keep that information away, separate from the club team, and we don't really have an accountability where I can ask them for grades.
Right.
I would love to do that, honestly, because in my past I've actually helped tutor some of my swimmers, and I enjoy that. I was a tutor in college as well.
Okay.
So I enjoy that part of it as well. I don't do a lot of that here. I'm certainly open to it and have done a little bit of it, but grades are vital. I mean, it's the first thing.
I agree.
Before anything else.
I completely agree.
So.
And because coaches in the other sports, I have friends who coach sports, and my friend is a big baseball coach, and because the kids grades all the time.
Yeah.
But what's interesting though with sports, I find is now is your swim program, it's year round, I believe, right?
Yes, it is.
Right. So and there's a summer program too.
Yeah.
So I keep saying the children, but there's older people too.
It's mostly children. Yeah.
So. In 52 weeks in a year, do people swim 52 weeks in a year?
On our team, we go probably 50 weeks a year.
Okay.
We have about a week off, half a week off around Christmas. The swimming season is really 2 seasons. There's a short course season that goes September through March, and then there's a long course season, which is April through August. So there's a little bit of a break between those. Some clubs take 2 weeks off in between each of those seasons. I don't, because of the particular people that I'm serving. A lot of them aren't that much into the competition aspect of it. So they're more there to as sort of a health measure.
Right.
I really have both. It's kind of interesting. My team is very unique in the way that I have really high performance level kids, and then I have the kids that are just sort of there. And there's very little in the middle. If they come and apply themselves, they get pretty fast.
Okay.
So
interesting. I just got the tag. It's time to go to commercial break.
Okay, sure.
Well, folks, I'm Dr. Joe Casper. I'm here with Daryl, and we need to go to commercial right now before I get in trouble. Okay.
Sinners and Saints, the proud sponsor of Proview Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. Start your evening off right with a delicious menu selection like the Sinners Smothered Fries with pulled pork and green chili. Always prepared with fresh, never frozen ingredient. Catch all the sports action from college, pros, and MMA on one of our 35 HD TVs. Sinners and Saints, the friendliest sports bar in Albuquerque.
Visit the Frontier Restaurant. Due to heavy construction on Central, take lead or coal coming north or south. The Frontier Restaurant. Get your Frontier fix on. Don't forget, every Proview Network sporting event is on sale at our DVD store. Go to www.proviewNetworks.com to buy your DVD today.
Altitude Sports Grill is where Albuquerque's sports fans won't miss a game. With locally crafted brews on tap and refreshingly crisp cocktails. Located in Hotel Cascada, Albuquerque residents find a staycation worth staying for. Catching Lobo sports, enjoying a beer on the beach, or wiping out, Hotel Cascada is home to your urban adventure. Affordable guest rooms, no-hassle water park parties, and much more.
Ladera Golf Course on Albuquerque's west side features spacious greens, 27 holes with outstanding practice facilities, and beautiful views of the Sandia Mountains, nestled at the foot of the volcanoes. Our 300-person banquet room and bridal suite is perfect for all occasions. Customize your room with color, chair covers, table linen, dinner, and champagne. Visit our cafe and bar with daily specials and happy hour, plus our full-service golf pro shop. For tee times and more information, call 505-836-4449.
Now there's an easier way to find deals at great New Mexico restaurants. DineNM.com. Just use your smartphone. Go to the site, download the app. No purchase or printer necessary. DineNM.com. The easiest way to save money when dining out.
Graphic Connection is your source for quality custom sports apparel inspired by the athletes that wear it. Graphic Connection offers in-house graphics, embroidery, digital printing, and screen printing, enabling us to offer custom products with fast turnaround to suit both your budget and your timeline. Graphic Connection is New Mexico's exclusive Cornette digital garment printer shop. The print resolution is unparalleled. Contact Graphic Connection today at 505-821-2777 or visit us online at www.gcsportswear.com.
Welcome back, folks, to the Underground Health Club. I'm your host, Dr. Joe Casper, and we're back with Daryl Wells.
Thank you.
I'm glad you came back, Daryl.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to leave for a second during the commercial break.
I don't know.
You had to take a swim, right?
That's right.
Anyway, we were talking about academics, and it was funny.
Sure.
During the break, you asked me a question that I absolutely was going to mention before you said I have a question about something, and it's about the academic situation. Right. Let me say this because let me be the bad guy.
Okay.
Is that okay? Let them hate me, not you. I find myself, when I was an athlete in high school, college, at higher levels, that, it seemed, the key word here is seemed, okay? So that the team sports compared more to individual sports, the individual kind of athletics had higher academics. So the track, the swimming, okay, the tennis, gymnastics seem to have higher academics than baseball, football, basketball, hockey. And I'm not putting anyone down. I know there's some super smart people. I'm not one of them, of course. But I guess when you do a sport like swimming, the dedication.
I think that's a big part of it. I think also, I'll speak for swimming because that's the sport I know
Please do, because I'm ready to jump in the pool now.
Sure.
What I just said.
And as a swimmer, I think you tend to be sort of intellectually driven a lot of times because you're with yourself and your thoughts most of the time.
Yeah.
And I think it appeals to those kind of kids. Plus the dedication it requires to excel at swimming and some of those other sports, tennis, like you mentioned, individual sports, it really takes an extraordinary amount of dedication on your own to be able to do that. And I think that transfers directly into academics and professional. We talked earlier in the first segment about being competitive.
Right.
That really, I identified myself as a swimmer even to this day. And it was the best tool I ever had. I was in the military afterwards, and it helped me through that. I was, as a professional, I went to professional school to become an architect. Helped me through all of that. And it was really, I rely on those qualities that I learned as a swimmer all the time, every day. And I think it translates directly into academics.
You know, it's interesting you should say this because I remember in college, my GPA was higher during the baseball season than not. And people go, what do you mean? And I remember because you had to really lock it down.
Time management.
I remember. I remember, like, on the team bus traveling somewhere, and people goof around. I'm in the back, like my chemistry books and all this stuff. And I was like, I want to have a life, And I just remember definitely that was a factor. And I remember some people go to college and they go, well, I don't want to play college sports because I can't focus academically, which is fine, but they knew their limitations.
Right.
And you talk about competitive.
Yeah.
And I know that what I've done as an athlete, I put my athletic mindset into my academics.
Sure.
Which I don't know if that's correct, and that can be very stressful.
Sure.
But that's
I can only say that I did the same thing, and I think, like I said, I think it directly translates. When you get competitive people, they're competitive people. It doesn't stop when they stop playing sports.
Right. And it's interesting because I could say this, I got divorced and did my dissertation in the same year.
Right.
Which is unheard of. and I was competitive, like, I got to get this done. I got to, and
Sure.
In my head, I drove myself, kind of batty, but it worked.
Yeah.
But that's not for everyone. But I like your point, Daryl, about how, academics plays a role and being competitive is okay.
Yeah.
I think in our world today, you have to understand that. And, swimming is a great sport. It's interesting, the only injuries I've ever hear about in your sport are the rotator cuff. That's about it?
That's by far and away the largest injury. I mean, I would, just off the cuff, I would say it's probably 85% of all swimming injuries.
Pun intended, you get off the cuff.
Right. Are shoulder related.
Yeah. Well, because of the movement, I guess,
right.
the crawl, butterfly.
We do a lot of the same directional movement, 1 foot, one direction, so there's not a lot of, and there's a lot of science around this that we can get into. Swimmers tend to do this motion, forward motion, so we don't do a lot of this motion unless they're backstrokers. So we overdevelop one side of the shoulder, and that's sort of one of the causes of the shoulder issues.
Now, do that motion again you just did for me, please.
Okay, so the first one we do this.
So so you almost went, you're not quite into rotation, but you're about to be.
That's right, and we're going to go into our body like
there
this.
It goes.
There's a lot of pressure here on that fulcrum.
Correct.
And that's constant. You can imagine how many times you go across the pool, and we're talking about 2 hours a day or more every day, the same repetitive motion with very little reverse.
That's like throwing 1,000 baseballs.
That's right, exactly. Every single day.
Right.
Sometimes twice a day.
Okay, now let me ask this question too, because I've heard different things from different coaches.
Sure.
When you're doing the crawl stroke, okay? And I remember when I took, I actually passed a lifeguard license years ago because I wanted to, because I did a lot of aqua rehab with people. I used to do aqua rehab to myself still. Yeah. And when you're doing the crawl stroke, you turn one way. Aren't you supposed to turn the other way? What's the deal with that?
Well, okay, so
that's a controversy.
I mean, that's a whole show in itself, honestly. And it really depends on the kid. It depends on their ability to move along their center line, their neck line. Some kids don't have a lot of movement there with their neck. Some people are sort of restrained there.
Okay.
And again, I don't want to get too scientific for people, but some coaches are really focused on getting bilateral breathing. Some are not. I am not, unless I see an issue developing with the swimmer. I'm very speed oriented when I'm training.
Okay.
And it really depends on the kid a lot. And again, it could be a whole show, honestly, if you want to get too much into that.
But if someone, let's say as an adult, let's say I was going to...
As an adult, I would always recommend trying to do bilateral breathing, yes.
Right, so this way you have both sides, you might develop.
Right. And then you're going to develop unilateral, both sides equally. That's what you want, especially from a health point of view.
Okay, that's what I was getting at. So, very, very interesting, all these points here and swimming. And I got to tell you, it's... the way the world is today, people need to find something they can enjoy. And I think water fitness is a great thing. I know they have classes at Rio Grande, other places too. Water fitness is fun, and you don't get hurt in it.
Right. One of the best things about water fitness and swimming in particular is you have resistance to all movements, so you're getting uniform exercise throughout your entire body. There's no impact whatsoever. There's no danger of falling. There's not a lot of injury stuff happening other than, like we talked about a little bit about the shoulders. But from a health point of view, most people don't encounter that because they're going to be swimming half an hour a day or so, and as long as their technique is pretty good, it's going to be very low injury. And like I said, you get clean, you stay out of trouble. There's a lot of really great qualities about it.
Well, one of the things that I want to ask you to help me with is I have never mastered the flip turn.
Okay.
No, really, I want to do that. And so I'm going to ask you to help me at some point.
Absolutely, I love helping.
And I believe I can. I do a little bit, but I can't totally flip around. And I think and that helps your time.
Yeah.
I mean, no question about it. But I just want to say, Daryl, having you on the program has been fantastic.
It's been
really appreciate having you, and please come back again, and please give everyone your information right now. Please do.
My information is I coach a swim team over at Rio Grande High School. We swim from 5:30 or 5, depending on the group, to 6:45 every day, Monday through Friday. And you can find out more information at www.swimbarracuda.org. And we love to have kids out there, especially South Valley kids, which is where we're serving down in South Valley, Albuquerque. Come on out and swim with us.
Now, you guys also have scholarship programs.
We do have scholarship programs. We're in a sort of low-income area, and I want everyone to swim who has a desire. So
Whoever deserves can be there.
that's right.
One more thing, please give us your phone number as well.
My phone number that you can reach me directly is 505-504-5545.
And you're on Facebook?
I am on Facebook as well. The swim team is on Facebook.
Under Darrell Wells?
The swim team is under Barracuda Swimming, and that's
Okay.
probably the best way to start.
Okay. Well, listen, Darrell, again, thank you so much.
Thank you, Joe.
It was
Been
an
a pleasure.
honor and a pleasure to have
Thank
you,
you.
sir. Appreciate you very much. Well, folks, it comes time that time again. We want to thank our sponsor, Power Pack 3, if I can hold this right, there we go. The world's leading vitamins from the lab to the patient, probiotics, digestive enzyme, multivitamin. You can't get a healthier vitamin anywhere in the world, so thank you, Power Pack 3. And I just want to thank everyone for having this great program.